I just need a minute. Sorry, I don't mean to be all emotional. Right, the date is the 30th of October 2025. And basically, sorry, I'm really struggling to talk, bear with me. I'm about, well, I'm already in, the court process, I'll say, to see my little girl. I haven't seen her since February the 24th this year, and she'll be 2 in December. Basically, so I answer enough for near enough half of her life, basically. Just been shut out of her life for trying to be there for her, basically. How do I explain? I'm trying to explain without going on a rant. A load of stuff had happened at home, and I was concerned for her safety and well-being. I'll just say that. Basically, I'm not shut out by any actions of my own. It was actually because of actions that my mother had taken, because my mother was also concerned, basically. Anyway, anyone that knows me knows that I love music, yeah? And I was just listening to a song that's like, just made me a bit emotional. So don't worry, that, my emotions are like, I mean, don't get me wrong, of course I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken not to see my little girl, right? But don't feel bad for me, because these emotions are good emotions. Because basically I know it's not forever. I will see my little girl again. I just, I'm hoping and praying that she's okay in the meantime, basically. But I was just listening to a song that loads of people would think, what the hell are you listening to that for? But basically, when I was a small boy, I remember my mum tucking me into bed and singing it to me. Sorry, I don't mean to swear, just try to, like I say, collect myself together here. So yeah, when I was a small boy, my mum used to sing this same song to me, basically. And it's Dreams Can Come True by Gabrielle. Really famous song, you know what I mean? But it's not the type of song you'd expect me listening to. It's not my usual sort of thing, but I've always had a spot for it in my heart because of them memories. And basically, it's just the lyrics. The lyrics have made me think of my little girl. And it's just, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think about her all the time. There's not a day that goes by that I don't. But basically, since I've lost contact with her, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was growing up a lot because of having her, right? But a lot has happened in that small period of time, in general, that has made me think, I need to change my own philosophy on life anyway, right? You know, so yeah, it's, how do I explain it? For example, yesterday I think it was, I came across a guy, let me just put his name in, so it was Jim Ron, I think it was called. Now, he's like, he does speeches basically. I think around or used to, is probably a bit old for it now, I'll say. But basically in the 80s and stuff, he was doing all these speeches around America, and I assume like universities and things like that. And I just found what he said really inspirational and also kind of comical in areas. So, how do I explain it? Before that, I was listening to a lot of Stoicism and Stoic philosophies, because that's been really helping me get through this. And it's, as far as my brain can see at least, it's been helping me to sort of be wiser and be stronger within myself. One of the Stoic sayings, in fact, is you can't control outside events, but you can control your own mind. If you realise this, you will find strength. So that being said, I've come across this Jim Ron guy, and he's like talking about careers really, and like that's one of the main focuses. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm 39. I'm not saying I'm going to become an entrepreneur tomorrow. But basically, it's his philosophy that I like more than anything, because he says, what did he say? Basically, time is more valuable than money, which I agree. I've thought that for a long time. Because money, the way he puts it, is money, because he's an American, he's like, money, we live in America, you can, there's no problem, you can just pay, whatever. But time you can never get back, and that is so true. You can't buy more time, Now, the philosophy of what he basically was saying were, he was saying, referring to himself in this, that he had like creditors coming, knocking on the door and whatnot, and because he tried to sustain a family, and in his mind sucking at it basically. Which I've been through in my lifetime, not necessarily having creditors at the door, but I remember when I was fresh out of school, I used to always live in my overdraft. And basically, with his philosophy thing, he was saying basically you need to change your philosophy, and everything else will just sort of follow suit. And so my steps in my philosophy are going to be this. Now, I should have done it sooner, really. Maybe I'm scared, maybe I find it too stressful, I don't know. But as anyone that's heard my recent little rambles that I've been doing, I recently gave up using cannabis. I mean, look at the state of my fingers, and I can see it, from smoking now. But it's left me with a fairly heavy nicotine habit. Now, he was saying, you can wake up any given day and you can make that change, meaning like, you can do it tomorrow, basically, which is true. You can. I'm just a little bit probably scared, because quitting smoking is hard. Now, basically, how do I explain it? So, in my mind, I've been telling myself, once I get this first court hearing over with, that's going to be my day, basically, to give up nicotine. Because I hate smoking cigs. I really, really hate it. And last thing I want to do is end up dying that way, basically. I've seen people go through that and it's not nice. And so yeah, I need to shift my own philosophy, even now. But basically, going back to the Gabrielle thing, what touched my emotions about it were, I was thinking when I was little, I remember my mum tucking me into bed and, like I say, singing it. Usually on a night out, getting ready to go get drunk or whatever, because that were how it were for, the parents back then. I don't drink myself, like, so. But basically, what's amazing about it is not only the lyrics, like the lyrics are brilliant. I don't know who wrote them, whether Gabrielle wrote them herself or, someone like Ghost wrote them or whatever. But I just feel like now that I'm grown up, it's me in that position. Does that make sense? And like, even though I haven't seen my daughter for as long as what I haven't, just, maybe I'm feeling a responsibility. I'm not sure, but I just feel like I need to make sure that she's safe, basically. Does that make sense? Especially because in my mind I know a lot of the stuff that has happened in her home situation. And I just, like I say, I just feel like the small boy that I once were is now a man having to, take on the responsibility now for myself and for my child. And it's amazing because this is such a word, but basically, as a child I would have had fear, for example, and I'm not feeling fear. I'm feeling like determination, and I really truly do believe that your dreams can come true as long as you focus on them, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just another one for my daughter, basically. But I just don't know what else to say. But Millie, I am doing everything to see you, my darling. I love you.